Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, and we are live. All right, ladies and gentlemen, and we are live. I ain't gonna lie to you guys, man. This is my first time ever going live, and so this is something new to me. I just want to go ahead and give disclaimer. Um, I speak multiple languages, and so because of that, English is one of the language that's kind of a problem for me. All right, just to go ahead and put it lightly. All right. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, if I'm having a little bit of if my words starts to get a little bit messed up, I apologize in advance. But that's that's a whole nother story. First of all, what is going on? All right, I'm just gonna get straight to the point. No question about it whatsoever. I just want to get straight to the point. What is going on in Iran lately? So, from our point of view here in the United States, we see that the Iranian government is about to collapse, or maybe Khamenei, which is the supreme leader, I apologize, which is the supreme leader of Iran, they're trying to get rid of him. Now, my question is this: what benefit is America going to gain from getting rid of this guy right here? Let's be quite honest. What benefit is America going to gain? Because to be honest with you, if Israel decides to, you know, attack Iran once again, like they did back in 2025, Iranians said that they're going to respond, and they're going to respond hard this time. There are American troops all over the Middle East, all right, and they become fair game. That's one thing that we need to keep in mind. Another thing that we also need to keep in mind is the Strait of Hormuz, which is, the pretty much the passage for where a lot of the oil that goes throughout the world come from. All right, and Iran can easily shut that area down. So that's why I kind of have a prediction that perhaps they're about to attack Iran, knowing full well that the Strait of Hormuz is going to be shut down. And so, because of that, America decided to get rid of Maduro in Venezuela so that way they can start taking the oil from there rather than having to rely on the Middle East. Because you guys also need to understand that, you know, the oil in the Middle East is no longer going to, well, no longer, but they haven't renewed the contract to sign the oil only in American dollar. That's one thing that we need to understand. But that's a whole different topic in of itself. One thing that I do want to say is, why have we not learned anything from history? Okay. And the reason I'm saying this is because you see a lot of Iranian, right, in Iran who are obviously wanting Khamenei to get out of office. But obviously, we don't see the other side of that, which is people who are actually for Khamenei to stay in office, right? That's besides the point. What I want to say is, what have the United done through what have the United States done throughout the world that has proven to the world that they are capable of doing a regime change and things go nice and smooth and everybody's happy and that's it. I mean, if you want to name Libya, Syria, Yemen, Afghanistan, like, not some of these places obviously they haven't done regime change, but some of these places they have done regime change, and for some reason people seem to be extremely happy when American steps in, just for them later to be put in a position in which, Libya is a really great example of that. When Gaddafi was removed, now you have an open slave market in Libya. Now, again, history, I wouldn't say it repeats itself, but it rhymes. Okay. And let's go ahead and just start talking about these. Now, Mike Pompeo, a former CIA. So, former CIA Director Mike Pompeo admitting Mossad agents are on the street in Iran a week before the protest started. So, already, if here's what I'm trying to say. If Iran was such a threat to America, why didn't America take some of the CIA and do exactly what Mossad is doing? Perhaps there's already a CIA agent or FBI agent among the crowd. Honestly, I don't know. But based off of this, based off of, the Israeli themselves admitting that there are Mossad agent among the crowd, rallying up people to go ahead and commit all kinds of crime, such as burning mosques, and literally like they're throwing Molotovs in mosque and they're burning the whole thing down. And then earlier, not today, but like earlier, Trump went ahead and said, "Oh, if Khamenei decide to, attack the protester, they're gonna go ahead and it's like, dude, they're trying to give every reason possible to attack Iran. All right." And what's a better excuse than to say what Trump said? Because all Mossad has to do is just keep wiling up people, keep, peer pressuring the either the police or the military or whoever comes into to try to control the crowd. And then they're just gonna, open fire. And then, oh, there you go. Mossad. Ooh, look, America, look, they decided to open fire on us. This means that you now need to come and take out Khamenei. And just like that, perhaps World War III has started because Iran is not going to go down without a fight. But one thing that I do want to say, obviously, is that the only country or the only state that's going to benefit from this whole entire fall of Khamenei and the regime change is obviously our greatest ally in the Middle East, our best friend, our, Benjamin Netanyahu, our president, I should say. Okay. So yeah. Literally, Mike Pompeo admitted himself. I mean, it can't be any more obvious. I'm pretty sure everybody else knew about this, right? But this is one thing that I do want to say. This whole entire idea that we need to take down Iran, okay? The fact that people are out there chanting and trying to say we need to get rid of Khamenei, it just doesn't make any sense to me that, what was I going with this, man? Ooh. Yeah, going live for the first time is extremely weird. I've never done it before. So I got to pick my word very, very wisely, man. So I apologize if I go off topic a little bit. But one thing that I do want to say is that the only country that's going to benefit from this whole entire regime being collapsed is Israel. And let's be quite honest. It seems like Iran is the only country that is still in Israel's way. And obviously, Israel understands that we need to take this down, which is why Benjamin Netanyahu has been calling for so long, for over 30 plus years now, saying that Iran is on the blink of creating a nuclear bomb and they're about to go ahead, they're like a week, or he will say like they're like a month away. And this has been saying the same thing over and over again. And his dream is about to come true. He's been dreaming about this. This dude has been having a wet dream about taking down Iran. And the time is closer than ever now. And believe it or not, the fact that the American people's opinion about the state of Israel has just collapsed, man. And people just hate this country, this state, right? The time to take down Iran is now, because this is the only opportunity they're going to have, which is why after they did the Rising Lion attack, the Operation Rising Lion, since then till today, guess what? It wasn't really a ceasefire. It was more like how do I say it? Let's put a pause to this for now. And then later down the line, we'll go ahead and resume. All right. And Iran, they understand that, which is why they've been practicing. In case you haven't been keeping up, they've been practicing. They've been shooting missiles, obviously not Israel yet, but they have been practicing. And then fast forward, now we see that Mossad is starting to wild up the people. And they're obviously going to use this as a cover to perhaps get near some of the high rank in Iran. All right. And so we need to be very, very aware of the fact that that's going to be any time now. Perhaps we're going to start hearing in the next few days that some of the high ranking people in Iran has been completely taken out. And this video right here kind of summarizes a lot of the stuff that I'm saying right now. It's the fact that we haven't learned anything from history. All right. And for some reason, every single time America decides to topple a leader and say they're going to do a regime change, the people in the people there start to celebrate. Well, not all of them. Fast forward today, we make it seem like Venezuelans, or Venezuela is the main example right now because of the fact that we just got on kidnapping their leader. Not all the people. All right. So much so that political commentators on X are literally taking videos from years ago of Venezuelan support, celebrating some of the soccer team winning. And then they're saying, oh, look, the Venezuelans are very, very happy that we went ahead and got and removed Maduro. And I'm like, and And people are catching on to this. People are saying, yo, you guys are lying. You guys are literally saying that the Venezuelans are happy. Meanwhile, this video is years ago. So which goes to tell you that a lot of people are awake to the fact that this whole idea that America is the savior and they're gonna come and take us out of the gutter and, you know, remove our dictator leader is facade. It's a lie just for America to go in and usurp the wealth of that country or to benefit the state of Israel. Those are the only two options. Either America is going to benefit from the natural resource of that area, or is to destabilize the region so that way it's much easier for the state of Israel to survive. That's it. And people woke up to that. People see that now, right? And so let me go ahead and play this video for you guys so that way you get an idea of, you know, how awake people are. But obviously the mainstream media is not going to tell you that because it goes against the narrative.
All I'm going to say to the Iranian people, wake the shit up and smell the shit what America is throwing at you, what Israel is throwing at you. You guys are destroying your own country by doing these stupid protests. You're destroying your economy. You're making your country weak so the enemy can attack. What are you doing? Did you not see what happened in Iraq? When America decided that they're going to go into Iraq and all these Iraqi people, they were happy chanting and everything and saying death to Saddam. And guess what happened? As soon as Saddam went, they destroyed the whole country. Yep. And they left. Is that what you want? You think Americans are your saviors? Wake the shit up, man. Wake the shit up. Anyway, God bless you all.
And he's right. He's 100% right. And truth of the matter is that after 7/11, obviously we understand that was an inside job. They needed an excuse to go ahead and you know, take down seven country in that area, right? And this was already said to us years ago. Like this was like what, 2005, around there, when it came out that they already had a plan to attack 7 countries in that region to destabilize this area. And coincidentally, after 7/11, they just started doing all of that. So with that being said, right, this whole entire idea of weapon of mass destruction in Afghanistan and all these other stuff, it was nothing more than just a lie. Complete bullshit. Just an excuse to go ahead and destabilize the entire Middle East, not entire Middle East, but to destabilize the Middle East in order to make it easier for Israel to achieve their goal of greater Israel. All right. And yeah, this guy put it beautifully. It's the idea that, you know, for some reason you have Iranian going ahead and celebrating. Truth of the matter is this, okay? Like a lot of Americans don't even know where Iran is on the map. When the 12-day war was happening back in, I think it was in June, they went ahead and asked the American people, can you point to me where Iran is? Some of these people were literally pointing at like France and Australia, Nigeria. I'm like, oh my God, like Nigeria, like bro, they were pointing at freaking Iraq. They were literally pointing at Saudi Arabia. They were pointing at Yemen. They had no idea. If I'm not wrong, I think it was less than 20% of them. 20% of the people that they asked had no clue where Iran was. But yet, you have these people on the internet saying, oh, we need to support Iran, not support Iran, but we need to topple the government of Iran. They're oppressing their people. It's like you don't even know where it is on the map. All you know is what the mainstream media tells you. And how many times does the mainstream media have to lie to you in order for you to be like, oh, okay, yeah, these people are complete liars. We can never take anything that they say. It's the same game that's being played over and over and over again. And for some odd reason, we just seem to, well, fall into the trap. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, this is something that came up on my, I just want to go ahead and, you know, make sure I got everything right here before yeah. So this was supposed to be here. So yeah, this came up on my feed and I figure I should talk about it because the whole entire social media has been taken over with the Iranian situation, and nobody's talking about this. I had no idea. I was scrolling on YouTube. I was scrolling on Instagram, and I was also scrolling on here until I came across Soleimani, who went ahead and shared a video, and I was like, oh snap! And I even went ahead and found a news report about it. We'll go over that in a little bit. But in case you guys don't know, breaking news, huge anti-ICE protest in San Diego. These protests are bigger than those in Iran. What does that mean? So yeah, let's see this. Dude, this is a lot of people. Yeah, let me go ahead and do this. I forgot. Maybe this might be copy, the music in the background. I'm not sure, but yeah. So San Diego is being, I wouldn't say it's being, but a lot of protests. And let's go ahead and watch the news on this and see what's going on.
We begin tonight with protests erupting across San Diego County. Thousands taking to the streets from North County to the east, speaking out against immigration enforcement after a deadly encounter with ICE agents this week. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Steffi Roche.
And I'm Steve Price. San Diego is joining hundreds of protests all across the country, all with one unified message after a federal officer shot and killed a U.S. citizen in Minnesota.
CBS 8's Alex Lai was at one of today's
Here's my question, right? What if Mossad, or should I say our greatest ally in the Middle East, what if they take advantage of this opportunity to cause chaos here in America, just like the way they're doing in Iran? I wonder if anybody has thought about that. And even recently, there was a guy who went ahead and decided to burn an American flag, right? He had his face covered, of course, because that's what they all do. FBI, CIA, Mossad, whatever you want to go ahead and label them. When there's when a whole group of people go on the street and then start protesting about a certain topic, right? You have undercover agent who try to wild up people. Why? Because they want to either make these people look extremely evil on the news, or they want this to be the main story of the week or of the month. And while everybody is focused on it and try to figure out what's happening, something else is happening in the background. So with this whole entire ICE situation that's going on, perhaps some kind of special agent is going to take advantage of this opportunity to distract people, right? And this may be a catalyst to now attacking Iran. While everybody's focused on this, while everybody's talking about the whole entire ICE situation, guess what? They're in the background signing deals saying that, all right, we agree, we're going to go ahead and attack Iran. And perhaps Israel is going to go ahead and tell the Mossad agent in Iran currently to say, hey, start the firework. So this is a big moment. That's all I gotta say.
Protest and shows us the county-wide movement and why emotions are running high.
Well, the protest is dwindling down out here, but the crowds really speak for themselves. We're here on Encinitas Boulevard in El Camino Real with crowds of people on every corner waving their signs high, chants echoing through traffic as drivers honk in support. Now, this is just one of many protests across the county today, rallying against ICE and the Trump administration.
Here, no hate, no fear.
A similar scene earlier today in El Cajon.
I think the message is, wake up, East County, wake up, America. This is not usual, this is not normal, and it is headed for a really bad, dark place.
Organizers say hundreds showed up, united by frustration and urgency.
Dealing with this administration is like playing whack-a-mole. It's every other day there's a new issue. We invade another country. 2 days later, we shoot a woman in Minneapolis on the streets.
Coming together to say enough is enough.
I feel it's important that I join with all these other people in saying, hey, let's wake up, let's realize what's going on here and try to stop it.
Meanwhile, in Mira Mesa, hundreds more joined in.
It's not just one thing, it is so many things. It's Venezuela. It's the oil. This administration has done nothing for the average American.
Many here tell me anger is giving way to something deeper, fear and hopelessness.
There is not much that we can do except for use our voices, which they are actively trying to silence. So emotions are high, tensions are rising.
That urgency is what drove many people into the streets today.
Assert your freedom and liberties now, or they'll be taken from you later. They're already being taken.
They say staying silent is no longer an option as anger builds and crowds keep growing.
Interesting. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, it appears that, San Diego, is well, you know, this is what's going on over there. But all in all, what I do want to say is this perhaps is going to be a really, really great opportunity for the PDF files in office to take advantage of this while the people are distracted to now attack Iran, right? And yeah, if he thinks shit's so bad now, just wait. And one thing that I also want to say, now I haven't done any research on this specifically. People are saying that perhaps the ICE agents are actually being trained by the IDF, or I've heard other rumors that there are actually some IDF among the ICE agent. Now, again, speculation, allegedly, nobody knows exactly, but perhaps they are being trained by the IOF. That's a fact. What's a fact is that even in New York, right? I heard there are some police officers who actually went to the greatest ally in the Middle East to train by them, and then they come here. So we do know that the IDF do train some of the some American service members. Now, is it true that the ICE agents are being trained by them? I don't know. I haven't really looked into it, but I just wanted to go ahead and put that out there so that way you guys keep in the back of your mind that this may not be organic. I'm just saying this may not be organic because this is not the first time that ICE agents have shot at innocent people. It's happened in the past. But this right here, for some reason, this happened to catch people's attention. Some were saying it's because the person that they were unalive was white. Now, I don't want to bring this into a race war because every life is precious. It doesn't matter what race you're from. One thing that I do want to say is that this may not be organic. And if it's not organic, we should start looking into the reason as to why they decided to boost this up. We should look into the reason as to, we should look to see if they're planning something in the background because the whole world is unsettled right now. All right. With the rumors of World War III, with the rumors of taking over Cuba, taking over Greenland, Iran is engulfed in flame because, you know, you got protesters on the street who are causing havoc. And Trump says, I dare Khamenei to attack any of these protesters, which I find very, very hypocritical because if anybody in America was to do exactly what's going on in Iran right now, even if it was in a mosque or a church, they decide to just burn a store down, I'm sure somebody is going to take action and try to stop the protester from burning down more properties. All right. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, let's move on to our next topic. And the next topic is this. All right. Venezuela. Well, land grabbing in Iran, Argentina, Venezuela happening right now. Who do you guys think is behind this? I say it's Israel. Oh, no, I'm not going to hold back on this one. Yeah. For some reason, I guarantee you, these people, they're tied in everything, bro. Every single time there's some kind of chaos going on in the world, somehow, some way, they got the greedy ass fingers there doing something. And to be quite honest with you, I can't how do I say it? It just boggles me that the same people who have been kicked out of 109 countries are the ones that are telling you what your morals should be and who you should and shouldn't be mad at. I mean, think about that for a second, right? Especially when it comes to Muslims. We seem to get demonized in the mainstream media. They want to go ahead and tell the whole world that Muslims are bad, Muslims are evil, Muslims are this, Muslims are that. You need to hate them wherever they go. Just understand that, violence is going to be arriving to you. If that's the case, why would they create false flag attack and blame it on the Muslims? If Muslims are inherently or naturally bad, if our Quran is the one that's teaching us to do bad things, why is it that when there's a huge false flag attack, they're the one that's behind it? The main culprit is the state of Israel. Doesn't anybody really sit there and think about that? The recent one with the Bondi Beach attack, that whole entire narrative got shut down on day one because guess what? They wanted to go ahead and say, oh, look at these Islamists. Look what they've done to Bondi Beach. They went ahead and attacked our Jewish people while they were doing the holiday. And the reason that whole narrative got shut down so quickly is because the guy who stopped the person who was doing the shooting was actually the Muslim himself. So they couldn't run with the idea that Muslims are all bad. Because look, a Muslim just stabbed that. Me personally, I genuinely don't think that person, whoever, those people that were doing, what do you call it? Those attack. Now, let me pick my word very, very wisely because I didn't open up their heart and see what was in their heart. But one thing that I do want to say is it goes against Islam what they did. It goes against Islam. We as Muslims are not allowed to unalive innocent people. We're not allowed to unalive innocent people. We're not allowed to attack innocent people without them. We just can't. Especially take a rifle and then go unalive innocent people who haven't done anything to you. That in of itself is a problem, right? So yeah. So land grabbing is happening all over the place, right? And the main place that we understand that is being grabbed especially is the Palestine. Palestine is the biggest land grab that's going on currently, and that is being grabbed over the dead body of Palestinians, and that has been going on for over 75 years, although they like to focus on October 7th because they can't seem to justify the whole entire occupation that has been going on for so long. So let's go ahead. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, if you look at the history of the state of Israel, one thing that you will understand is for some reason these people happen to bounce from country to country, state to state, you name it. They just bounce all over the place. Okay? And is it a coincidence that Argentina seems to be on their bucket list? No. No, it's not, because Argentina is kind of notorious for harboring war criminals, and one of the best examples that I can give you is the Mustache Man. Yes, Argentina went ahead and released their document, every 60 years on, the classified documents has to come out. And the 60 years mark ended, and we found out that the Mustache Man did not unalive himself in Germany or Berlin, and rather he escaped to Argentina. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Argentina is a very, very notorious place for harboring war criminals. And with that being said, now, is what he's saying true? I don't know the politics that's going on in Argentina currently, right? So I'm not aware of the fact that, he's saying that, that the power who are behind this are not even hiding anymore. They're just being blatant about it and so on and so forth. And yes, there is truth to that statement. There is truth to that statement. There are other videos that I have seen of a guy who is actually recording somebody, and the video allegedly says that this person was getting ready to start a fire and that he was a tourist from our greatest ally in the Middle East. So again, they just happen to be tied with it, right? For some reason, I don't know why, but sheesh. So yeah, let me go ahead and read this for you guys real quick. An Argentinian wildfire survivor said it is no longer shocked by what is happening. He says it is 100% intentional. A deliberate land grab driven by the value of the minerals. Ugh. Sounds very, very, satanic to me. And if you see my previous video, I'm sure you know exactly what I mean when I say satanic. He says that the perpetrators are no longer hiding in the shadow. Everything is out in the open now. Yet the people affected have no voice. The mainstream media will not speak out of them, and neither will the so-called new media. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I wonder why. I forgot the leader of Argentina, man. I can see his face, right? And the face that comes to mind is him crying his eyes out at the Wailing Wall, right? God, how did I forget this guy's name, bro? But yeah, recently, let me tell you guys this. America gave Argentina $40 billion. Now, we understand that comes with strings attached. Okay? That comes with strings attached. And it hasn't been a year yet since he was giving the $40 billion. And on top of that, he was also reelected back into office. All right? Venezuela is a really, really great example that I can give right now. It's that any country in the South who do not obey America, who do not do what America tells them to do, they just happen to be a dictator. They just happen to be a communist. They just happen to be somebody that needs to be removed because they're oppressing their people, And Venezuela is a really great example. So the fact that this dude the leader of Venezuela has not yet been removed, when in fact he has been given $40 billion from the United States. Tells me that they have something cooking. They have something cooking. And one thing that I do want to say, right, is the fact that Israel has such huge grip on America. Okay? Donald Trump does not attack a country unless Israel says so. Now, you may go ahead and argue and say that's not the case. I'll say, you're wrong. With Argentina, what do they have cooking? Only time will tell. I don't want to go ahead and make any prediction right now because, to be honest with you, I don't know. But only time will tell. All right. And this is another, from the Jerusalem Post. Massage per Iran protest, says agent with demonstrator in a Farsi message. So yeah, obviously, with our greatest ally in the Middle East attacking, not attacking, I'm sorry, leading the protests. And actually, I heard they're also giving money to people so that way they can start creating havoc, right? It's a problem. It's a problem, right? It's a massive problem that needs to be fixed, and only time will tell. And here is, okay, so they carry the Israeli flag, the flag of genocide, the flag of ethnic cleansing, the flag of apartheid. They want this flag to fly over Iran. These are terror and veteran foolish. So yeah, my question is, for the past 2 years, have the Iranians been asleep? Like, seriously, think about it, right? Let me turn this down while I talk so that... Like, have they been asleep for the past 2 years? And the reason I'm saying this is because we see a blatant genocide going on right in front of us. We see babies being murdered right in front of us. Prisoners have come out and said that they are being sodomized in prison by the guards. Not prisoners, hostage. They have come out and said that the IDF are literally using their dog to sodomize them. Some of these hostages come out with body limbs missing. Bombs have been dropping on innocent people. Over 83% of the unaliving that has happened in Gaza have been innocent people. These people have done this for so many years. For decades, they have been oppressing the Palestinians. It is an open-air concentration camp. So although this has been happening for over 75 years, my question is, what the fuck is wrong with the Iranian who are celebrating the arrival or the chaos that Mossad is causing in Iran? What is wrong with them? Have they not learned anything? And if this mission is successful, I'm going to be blatantly honest with you right now. If this mission is successful, if Khamenei end up being toppled, and then they put this baboon nose-ass dudes in position of power, I don't know his name, and to be quite frank with you, I don't care about his name. All I know is his nose is freaking huge as hell with the small ass, like he looks fucking weird. If he gets put in a position to lead Iran, even though he himself said it with his own mouth, he has not been back in Iran for over 30 years. And he said that his home is here in the United States of America. If you don't believe me, go to the PBD podcast. He recently just had a podcast on PBD. And that's what he said. And now you are wanting that specific man who pretty much doesn't know your way of life anymore. I mean, 30 years is a very, very long time. Okay? 30 years, a lot can change in the country in 30 years. I mean, you got a whole new generation who think differently from you. And especially if you're born here in the United States and then you go over there and rule, that's like an African coming here and then becoming the president of the United States in day one. And now you expect this guy to not know how your life is and then he tries changing up things. This just goes to show you that him being in that position, he's not going to be the real power holder, but rather he's going to be getting direct message from our greatest ally in the Middle East. He's going to be running the country and they're going to tell him, hey, we want you to do this, we want you to do that, and we want you to do this. That's how it's going to go. Okay? That's exactly how it's gonna go. And he's pretty much gonna go ahead and do everything that they said because he's already kissed the wall. We know he already kissed the wall. Sorry, I just wanted to see something real quick. We know he already kissed the wall. When Syria fell, what did Israel do? Before they brought in what's this guy's name? Man, I need to really start writing these guys' name now. When Bashar al-Assad, when he got removed, when he got toppled, did Israel wait right away and then put a new leader in position? No. What they did is they started destroying all their military equipment because they were like, okay, when we put this guy in position of power, although he's going to be under our thumb, although he is going to be somebody who's going to do exactly what we say, we cannot give this guy any leverage whatsoever. So we got to make sure we destroy every single equipment that's there. So they went ahead and started destroying the military equipment in Syria. So if Khamenei, when he falls, if he falls, I should say, because let's be honest, he's not going to go down without a fight. If he falls, Israel is going to rain hell down on the Iranians. They are going to try to destroy every single equipment in that land. These people think that they're celebrating right now. If this goes through, if Israel gets their hand on Iran, it is going to be hell unleashed. And I'm going to be honest with you. Am I going to feel bad? To an extent, I am. Because there are innocent people on there. There are people there who are saying, yo, what the fuck are you doing? You really want Israel to come in? There are people there who are doing these things. There are counter protests that's going on. Obviously, you're not going to hear about that. But there are counter protests that's going on. And so if Israel gets their hand on them, just understand that it is going to be hell unleashed. Israel is going to try to destroy all their equipment to the best of their ability. Because what if this baboon-ass dude decide to turn on Israel with all the Iranian equipment that they have? They can't risk that. Israel is a tiny, small place. Iran can literally wipe Israel off the face of the earth in less than, what? In less than a week. They have the firepower to do that. They have the firepower to do that. That's why Israel needs the help of America to attack Iran. Now, one thing you guys need to understand is that's very, very risky because obviously America is so far away from Iran. So having to send troops over there, having to send equipment and all of these things is going to be very, very difficult. It's going to be very, very, hard, especially with the Yemenis over there. They're most likely going to go ahead and take part in it because they understand if Iran falls, they're next. They know that. If Iran falls, Pakistan is going to be like, oh shit, we might be next. Because Pakistan has nuke. They're going to focus on Pakistan. You guys have to understand that Israel wants to be the dominant region, not only the region, but throughout the whole entire world. It wants to dominate everything. It is a virus that doesn't know when to stop. That's one thing you need to understand about the state of Israel. It's a virus that doesn't know when to stop. You know what I'm saying? It reminds me of a hadith that our beloved Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, right? He said that the belly of mankind, when it comes to wealth, we are never full. The only thing that will fill up our stomach is dirt. And what it means is the only time the human beings are going to be fulfilled with the amount of wealth that they have is when they die. Same thing I'm going to say applies to the state of Israel. The only time the state of Israel is going to be satisfied with the power that they have, well, it's never. They want the whole entire, they want the whole entire globe for themselves. They think that this is what they believe. You have to understand from their perspective. They believe that when the Messiah returns, the Messiah is going to go ahead and help them take over the whole world. And Goyim, which is people who are not the Jews, are going to be subservient to them, are going to be slaves to them. And they're going to be in Israel, right? And Israel is going to be the capital of the world. So they have all of these planned out. That's what they have in mind. So are they going to be successful in taking over the world? I don't believe they will. Satanists are never successful. This has been happening throughout history for thousands of years. This has, hold on, I'm sorry. I just wanted to see something real quick. So yeah, this has been happening throughout history for thousands of years. And one of the examples that I can give that a lot of religious people will know, even though I got other examples, but I'm gonna stick mainly to this, is when it comes to the Pharaoh. The Pharaoh was a very, very powerful leader that was alive over 3,000 years ago. The Pharaoh was alive. And if you learn about the story of the Pharaoh, you have to understand that this dude has so much power that he had a dream that there was a baby that's going to topple his kingdom, right? And he decided to unalive boys for over a year until it became a problem because they still needed people to keep working as slaves. They needed that. So what did he do? He said, okay, we kill babies this year and then next year we don't. This is the law that he implemented. And guess what? He was so powerful that nobody could stand in his way. Nobody could stand in his way. All right? That's how much power he was given. When it comes to the state of Israel, they obviously have to lie and make it seem like they're trying their best not to unalive babies and stuff like that, which goes to tell you that although they are trying to copy what the Pharaoh did, they will never be successful in that. Now, if you know the story of the Pharaoh, you understand that eventually he ended up drowning. You know what I'm saying? And you understand that it was one man. Oh, well, should I say two men? Moses and his brother Harun. Pretty much it was only those two who were the reason for the Pharaoh to collapse. Obviously with the help of God, of course. But you get the whole point. Tyrants do not achieve their goal. Never. All right? And the reason we also know about this story, right? The three Abrahamic faiths, we all know about this story. Jews do, Muslims do, Christians do. We all know about this story. And the reason why this story is so important, especially in today's day and age, is that God wants to tell us something. God wants to say, hey, if you disobey me, if you go against my law, if you go against my rule, if you oppress on the land, if you oppress the people who have been entrusted to you, this is the outcome of that. During the time of the Pharaoh, he considered himself to be a god. That's how powerful this guy was. And by obviously powerful, it was a delusion of power, obviously, because he can give, he wasn't a god. Everybody knew that. But he was such a tyrant on the earth, right? And got away with so much crime that he thought he was a god. He thought he was untouchable. Nobody can touch me. And what happened to him? He couldn't even swim. And so if you fast forward today and you look at the people of Israel, look what they're doing. They're pretty much doing exactly what the Pharaoh did. Except the whole entire world is seeing it. We are seeing a live stream of a genocide that's going on in the state of Palestine. We're seeing it. And for some reason, it's like everybody around the world is powerless and they can't do anything about it. And it's like, the only country that's in a way is the United States of America. That's the only country that's pretty much stopping the whole world. And on top of that, a lot of these leaders in these areas have been blackmailed, or there's people in position that are working for the state of Israel. But yeah, and one thing that I do want to say is that some people will probably be like, oh, why don't the Muslims step in and help the Palestinians out? And I'll agree with you. Why don't the Muslims step in and help the Palestinians out? It's a very, very good question. And again, it's a question that, we know the answer to it, but simultaneously, when it comes to politics, there's a lot to do with it, because there are some leaders all over the world that want to do something about it, but they're in a position of no power. They can't do anything because America is a superpower. And we understand that the only country that is preventing the collapse of the state of Israel is America. We understand that Egypt is being paid off. Yes, billions of dollars of the US tax dollar is going into Egypt to prevent the Egyptian from revolting against the state of Israel. Not a lot of people know that, but that's the case. Syria, the new leader in Syria, well, let's understand that this guy was from the Al-Qaeda. He was a leader. This dude had, I think he had like what, $10,000 or $20,000 bounty on his head. He was literally like, America wanted him. And then all of a sudden, Bashar al-Assad gets kicked out. He comes into a position, he comes into the United States, and here you are, Donald Trump shaking his hand and then putting perfumes on him. In fact, Donald Trump goes as far as saying that, oh, he's a very handsome guy. Like, wait a minute. A few years ago, you wanted this guy's head. You were calling him a T. And now all of a sudden, you're shaking hands with him? And so we can't rely on these leaders to come and help the Palestinians out. Jordan, You guys have to understand that Al-Aqsa Mosque, Jordan has the key to it. Jordan is the guardian for, someone who's looking after the Al-Aqsa Mosque. And look where he's at. Every time I see that dude sitting there blinking his ass off, I'm just like, look at him. You have been reduced down to pretty much nothing, bro. The Palestinian were trusted to you. And look where he's at. Hasn't done, well, I'm pretty sure he's done some, but he hasn't really done much for, the Palestinian. In fact, when the 12-day war was happening and Iran was sending nuclear bomb, I said nuclear bomb, I'm sorry. When Iran was sending rockets into Israel, I heard that Jordan was actually stopping some of them, and UAE was also doing the same thing as well. So now let that sink in. The country that is oppressing Palestinians, you have other Muslim leaders who are stopping rocket that's going into that country. And these are the people you expect us to rely on? Why do you think these people haven't been toppled? Why do you think UAE or Saudi Arabia or Jordan have not been toppled? Because they're playing the game. They're pretending to be on the side of Muslims, when in reality, these people are shaking hands with Benjamin Netanyahu. In fact, you have IDF who are literally going into UAE and going on vacation into the UAE and coming back. Let that sink in. When they go back home, they're unaliving Muslims. They're saying Muslims are evil. They're saying we need to get rid of all these Palestinians because they're all Hamas. And then when they go on break, they take a flight and then they go into Muslim country and then they go sit on the beach and drink the mimosa or whatever the hell they drink in celebration. And the UAE is just opening his arm and said, come on in. That's what the UAE is doing. And what, you expect Muslims to now say, hey, look at that. We need to go ahead and rely on this guy to come and save us. Our prophet said this over 1400 years ago. He said, Muslims, although you're going to be huge in numbers, you're going to be like a foam on the side of the ocean. You're going to be worthless. That's what he said. You're going to have no power. And you want to know why that is? It's simple. Because the love of the world has entered our hearts as Muslims, and the fear of death has left. I'm sorry. Maybe I might have gotten that wrong. But fear of God and, the love of the world has taken over. And so we are afraid to die. We don't want to die. We don't want to fight for something that is important to us, such as the deen of Islam. One thing that I do want to say is this. I don't care about the land. The land can be rebuilt. All right. The land can be rebuilt. Even when you go to Mecca, same thing with Mecca. If you break down the Kaaba, guess what? We'll just rebuild it again in 2-3 days, maybe? Who knows? Depending on how fast we build. The Kaaba itself is meaningless. It's just a direction for us to just face. And it's not, we've rebuilt the Kaaba before. When you go to Palestine, yes, we see rubble. We see it, and the whole entire area has been flattened. I'm not worried about that. What I am worried about is the innocent people who are losing their lives. It's the people who have nothing to do with Hamas that's losing their life. That's who I'm worried about. Because when they die, we can't bring them back. We have no power to bring them back. You know what I mean? So I'm not worried about that. The land. What I am worried about is the Palestinians. And we understand that the Israelis, they're not going to stop until they get all the Palestinians out of there. They want to be the dominant in Palestine. Or, if you look on the map now, it says Israel. But they want to be the dominant group of people in that region. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, it is a dog-eat-dog world out there. I went on a little bit of a tangent here, but you guys get the whole idea now. This is my first time going live, and it's a little nerve-wracking, but I hope I said what I need to say. Just stay vigilant out there, ladies and gentlemen. Stay aware. Perhaps I'll go live again tomorrow. Who knows? Let's see if I can find some big news out there to talk about. But yeah, you guys get the whole entire idea. And then you got these freaking retard over here burning it, thinking that, liberation is right around the corner. No, it's not. No, it's not. If this guy falls, don't get me wrong. Look, am I a supporter of Khamenei? No. Do I agree with his policy? I don't know much about his policy for me to agree with. But what I do want to say is, why is America interfering in people's business? Why are you there? Like, why? Huh? What benefit is America going to gain from toppling Khamenei? Like, Americans really sat there and thought about that? They don't even say, oh, it's because of oil. They don't even, like, the excuse that they have is that Khamenei is trying to build a nuclear bomb. And this guy has come out and said, we're not. We're not trying to do that. No. The IAEA went there and they investigated and they said, what? They're not building any bomb at all. So then my question is this. Why are we going there? And you want to know why? Because our president told us to go there. The prime minister of the state of Israel told us to go there. Because you have compilations of videos of him on YouTube, of him calling for regime change for decades, saying that they're on the verge of building a nuclear bomb. He's been saying that for decades. So what the fuck makes this year different? What makes this year different? What makes you think that us toppling him is gonna do anything for us here? All it's gonna do is just drag Americans down into more debt, make the life of American people harder. And now you have to pick up, if you have one job, now you have to pick up a second job because everything is becoming more expensive. Inflation is off the chain. Americans are not going to benefit from this. I'm going to be honest with you. Americans are not going to benefit from this. I will say this, even though I'm completely against the fact that we went ahead and toppled Maduro and kidnapped the guy, I will say this. Americans will benefit a little bit from the collapse of Maduro because obviously he's right down there and they do have a huge, massive amount of oil reserve, right? Because obviously, let's be honest, that's what America's going for. So they will benefit from that. Don't get me wrong. But does that make it right? No, it does not make it right for us to go topple a leader simply because we're going to benefit from it. That's why you have contract. That's why you sit down on the table, talk like real men and say, hey, let's make a deal. That's how you do it. But, you know, being the superpower, America says, nah, we're going to go ahead and just take everything, whether you like it or not. So yes, America will benefit a little bit from Venezuela. But when it comes to Iran, I don't see it. I don't see it at all. I don't see what we're going to gain from that, except for more Americans dying, except for more Iranian dying, except for an entire country being completely destabilized. The baboon knows that's going to go ahead and become the leader of that of Iran. If the whole coup goes through, he's going to be ruling over rubble. And God knows how long the Americans are going to be there for. God knows how long the war is going to go on for. God knows who else is going to get involved in this. Because Iran is not going to be by themselves. If Iran gets attacked, other countries are going to be wondering, are we next? Because if this country falls, who is now in our way? Nobody. Look at Pakistan. Look at Pakistan. Let me see if I can pull up my Google Earth real quick, man. Because it gives me a better idea of, you know, what to say. You know what I'm saying? This ain't loading, but there you go. So yeah. If Iran, this is Iraq. Iran is, come on, it's not even, there you go. So if Iran falls, obviously we understand Afghanistan has been taken down. Indians don't give a shit. But Pakistan is a nuclear weapon. They have nukes. And it's in range. I guarantee you it is in range. If this country falls, this one is already destabilized, so that's no biggie. If this country falls, they're going to be wondering, hey, we're next on the chopping block. Just like how people in Venezuela are now, not Venezuela, I'm sorry. People in these areas are now saying, hey, if they can just easily come and then take the leader, what about us? What about us? And now there's rumors that Cuba is next on the chopping block. And then there's rumors that Greenland is coming on. Seriously. So it's very stupid that, you know, Donald Trump went ahead and did what he did. I'm going to be honest with you. Because this is now getting all these other countries down here to be on their toes and say, what the fuck? Like, yo, if they can just come in and take down the leader, what about us? We don't have enough firepower to take this massive nation down. It's only a matter of time that if these guys, like, what if these guys decide to unite together? What if the fear of taking the leader of Venezuela causes Colombia and all these other South African, South American countries to unite, because them uniting, and on top of that, in a massive ass jungle, this is gonna be a guerrilla warfare. This is gonna be Vietnam 2.0 right here that we're talking about, ladies and gentlemen. So you guys need to be extremely aware of the fact that it's a domino effect that's not gonna benefit America to, forever, I would say. And it's all because of this guy, this little tiny place right here. People say it's because it's tiny and so on and so forth. Yeah, it's small, but guess what? They have blackmail on the leaders of here. They have blackmails on these guys. Obviously, they have recording of these people literally, doing unspeakable things to babies and kids. I wouldn't say babies, sorry, but maybe they're on the list too. I don't know. I don't know what kind of kink they're into, but you get the whole idea. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I've talked on and on and on. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and just end the live here. Yeah, we'll see the news. We'll see how things go in the future. I will catch you guys up later if you seen the live, or if you're gonna see it in the future and you made it this far. Leave a like, man. Subscribe. It's not gonna hurt. All right. Anyways, I'll catch you guys up later. All right.